I guess, you mentioned Plumlee being Jokic's backup. Well, the Nuggets traded for Thomas Bryant at the deadline this year. And he got a little bit of playtime, I think, here and there, but he just not being used in the playoffs. I think his defensive deficiencies are pretty considerable. He's like kind of up there with Christian Wood. Although I feel like he's probably a little bit more of a palatable option than Christian Wood in the eyes of a lot of fans.
I think so,
and
too.
he had like a really good game against the Kings. In
Yeah.
like,
He scored
was
like
it
30.
January? Yeah, it was. I mean,
Killed us.
he could be, really good. And the injury history is there, but he's still pretty young. And I feel like you might be able to get something out of him on the defensive end. He's got a 7'6" wingspan. He's going to be 26, I think, in a few months. So he's an option. I think if you're talking about, if you want to get enamored with an offensive player or an offensive centric backup center, Thomas Bryant is the better option than Christian Wood. And he'd be interesting, but there's a reason we weren't like talking. There was not a lot of like, oh, the Kings should trade for Thomas Bryant. I mean, like, in terms of what the Kings need out of a backup five, I don't really know. And it'd be interesting to see what Thomas Bryant gets in terms of suitors in the offseason.
I know, because he's barely played in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, I don't think he's played at all.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's really, he's probably pissed. He's really hurting his stock in the free agent market.
Why'd you trade for me? Well, they're not even like, I don't even think they're playing a center. Like it's Jokic is the only center that plays, I think, for the Nuggets, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they're running like an 8 or 9 man rotation with like no backup center. I don't know. The game is so different today. I mean, like, you can get away with like playing small five. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they can play like Aaron Gordon at the small five. I mean, talk about a versatile player and whatnot. It's just like, why play Thomas Bryant? You don't need the offense from him. You're getting it from other places. His defense is probably just so bad that you don't want that out there.
Thomas Bryant, it kind of like my 2 cents. Like, yeah, he's a great offensive guy. I don't know, just defense, and I just don't feel like that's. I feel like he could be molded into a better defensive player than Christian Wood, comparing those two. But at the same time, I just feel like there's better options out there. And I feel like he's a guy that will probably command a little more pay than maybe Drew Eubanks.
Yeah, no, I think that's for sure. Yeah, I just don't even know if he'd really like fit in terms of his, like, he can stretch the floor, but other than that, I don't know if he'd be the greatest fit.
Yeah, he just doesn't seem like the best fit for the Kings offense.
Yeah.